So I'm not feeling my best today. I was basically asleep all morning, I think, and then I had a bandage change at 11:30. Went to the spa for 3 hours where I was basically just lying down doing nothing. Went to an all you can eat because I heard that, if you eat food, you can have energy and you get energy. So I went to an all you can eat, spent an hour trying to eat, only to come back and find myself so exhausted that I've basically just been asleep all evening. So, um, yeah, the food did not actually give me energy. I think eating when you're in hibernation mode just doesn't work. And the annoying thing about this is that if I do try to stand up to go to the toilet or to have a coffee or something like this, I feel like I start spinning, and then that Kylie Minogue "I'm spinning around" comes into my head, and I'm just like, yeah, that is really not a good thing. Get out of my way because I'm walking forwards and I do not have the strength to walk around you. I'm just going to walk straight through you. When you're kind of like just in a daze and you just like, I feel like that. But when I was in the spa, I felt this strong need um, to think about. I'm really tired, but I feel like my head is still thinking. Sometimes okay, sometimes it's just tired, but Um, I was thinking there's a test that I've asked for people to test me on, like how, like whether they believe me or not. And I don't know how the singers want to get involved. I understand that if you do go on TV and try and promote the singers in some way, I don't know how it would work with copyright or what they would want to be involved or but I've done a chart which they might be interested in. They might be interested to know my scores. It's taken me a couple of hours to start because I was tired, but managed to get around to doing it. It's 10:30 now. And so yeah, it's very rough, and it's not really done on accurate memories of the songs or anything. I've been listening to so many songs, but yeah, I've given on this chart that I've just done. There's 5 questions that I've looked at. First question is how similar I am to the singer. Second question is how much do you like the singer? Third question is how much do you agree with the songs and the lyrics on the overall songs, to your memory. Um, Fourth question is how much you would want to meet the singer, and fifth question is how likely you go to their concerts. This is something that I'm just kind of curious in my own self as well, like how much would I relate to the singers with these questions, and they too might want to know where we stand. I mean, technically, I feel like there's something spiritual going on, so it's not really they shouldn't take it personally. If I give them a low score, they shouldn't take it personally. It's just if you've done loads of songs that I feel insult me, then I'm not going to want to go to your concert. That's just how it is. Or I'm not going to want to meet you in person. So you shouldn't expect me to want to meet you in person if I feel you've just been insulting me. But at the same time, I know that you've been insulting me for a reason, and I'm just kind of trying to accept that. But yeah, um, I it would be interesting though if I went on to Big Brother and said that these singers represent me, and whether you present that, you don't have to present it as truth. You can involve the singers if they want to get involved, and you can sort of ask questions. Big Brother is supposed to be like a social experiment where you analyze people, analyze how people think, and I feel like it's okay to analyze the housemates. That's quite a small and easy thing to do, um, but on a bigger scale, you can involve um, the world and how the world feels about these different singers, and I don't know how much they want to get involved or how much effort the TV show wants to put into this. Um, but you could do some sort of you can get like a profile where people sign up and they ask questions about the singers, or just do something where they just rate it out of 10. They shouldn't take it too seriously because people's memories change, and some days I feel a lot more similar to certain singers than other days. So if I was to do this same test in a month's time, you might even find that it's quite different. Or if I was to do this test like 5 years ago, again, it would be very, very different. So it'd be interesting if you had a profile where you could do the test, and in like 3 months' time, you can do the same test, but reveal that the singers actually represent different things, and therefore liking certain singers could actually determine what kind of person you are. Um, and you know, but yeah, when it comes to the first question, how similar you are to the singers, giving Beyonce a two, just because I feel like her songs were all just about sex. A lot of the singers sing about sex, but I feel like a lot of them have a big variety. So some of them are about sex and some of them are about other things. Whereas with Beyonce, it just seemed to be way too much sex. So I've given her a two because of that. Mariah Carey, I do think I'm quite similar to her. I mean, I don't like the world, but when I go into my fantasy world or my imagination, I feel like I am very similar to her. So I've given her an eight. Adele, probably a six. I think her songs do are quite mature, and I do have that side of me. But at the same time, I like being more immature and more scatty. So I don't think I'm actually that similar to her, even though she kind of represents me outside the timeline. But yeah, me outside the timeline has a much bigger memory. Hence, I am would be very different in that circumstance. Madonna, I've given a six because again, I think she's a bit too overly sexualized, and she has very complex words, and I feel like and she's also good with health and a tidy person, and I don't know, I'm not actually that I don't think I'm that similar to her. I think my higher self is very different, and my higher self is very different to me. But then again, I have dyslexia, and I have a really horrible life, so I don't think I'm actually that similar to my higher self. Um, Taylor Swift, I think I am more similar. I wouldn't have said this a long time ago. 10 years ago, I would definitely not said she was similar to me. But I would have said that I liked her because she wasn't similar to me. But yeah, I feel like I am more similar to her now, so I'll give her an eight. Katy Perry, probably a five. I don't really want to be like her, but at the same time, I feel like I have to be. Um, Gaga, probably an eight. I think I'm more similar to Gaga than Madonna. I think Gaga has a bit more honesty, um, and I think she's also reflected quite a lot on what she was like 10 years ago. Um, then there's um, Kylie Minogue. I've given eight. I don't know. I think she's kind of mature. Maybe she's quite similar to me. Um, it's mature, but it's also a wanting to be fun. And I don't know. I don't really know her very well, but I feel like I'm more similar to her. Um, and Nicki Minaj, probably two. I don't think I'm actually that similar. I can be like her, but I'm not really like her. Um, for probably a good reason. But anyway, Pink, probably seven. I feel like I come off a lot more girly, but I don't feel that way. So I feel like I'm more similar to her than people might think. Um, Jerry Halliwell, five maybe. I don't really know her too well again. Um, Britney Spears, I feel like I have to give her a two and an eight because I feel like there's one side of her that I'm very similar to, and another side of her that I'm absolutely nothing like. So I feel like I can't give her one score. I feel like I have to give her two scores because I feel like there's two different sides of her. Hilary Duff, I feel like 10, but it's true that I haven't seen anything recently, so I don't actually know what she's like now. But when I'm thinking about how she was 10 years ago, even though I didn't know her 10 years ago, I only know her about 2 years. Ow, my head. Uh, my head keeps. Um, and then Rihanna, probably nine now. I feel like I'm a lot more similar to her than I was, and yeah, I feel similar to her. Yeah, whether people see that, whether other people believe that, I don't know. Aaliyah, I feel eight. I don't feel that similar to her because she had much better upbringing, much better life. She was happy, and none of those things I am. So I don't actually feel that similar to her, even though I know we are the same person. Um, um, Christina Aguilera, three. I don't feel similar to her at all. I think she's too open with sexual stuff. I think I don't know. She's too, yeah. Um, and Mary J. Blige, I don't feel similar to her. I don't really follow her, but I don't feel similar to her. I've given her a three. I think it's just because um, I think also it's partly out of outrage for for the Catholics because they see that Mary as she represents that Mary, and I don't really think myself as being similar. So I'm deliberately putting it low because of church reasons, not necessarily because of her or anything. Um, and Selena Gomez, I probably put a seven. You know, I think I am. I do see her as a nice normal girl, but maybe I am too. So um, with an edge as well. There's an edge there. Jennifer Lopez, five. I don't think I'm that similar, but I can be. But it's just a five. Shakira, six, probably six. Nicole, I can't say her surname. Nicole Sing something Zinger. Um, two. I still don't think I'm very similar to her. Um, Paris Hilton, eight. I would love to be more similar, but I think eight is probably the highest I could give. Because we have very different lifestyles and wealth, should I say. Um, but Kelly Rowland, seven. Actually, that should probably be a six. I don't know. I don't really feel that similar to her. Maya, M.A., that's the M dot I dot A, yeah. Seven, eight. Um, but yeah, yeah. Anyway, Lily Allen, six. I Doja Cat, six. I do feel quite similar to her, even though she's sexual desire and I have no sexual desire. I do feel like I can be quite similar to her because we both have quite strong goals. Um, and Dia Luca, um, Dia Luca, seven, and Kasha, five. Well, you can read the scores. I don't know what else to say. Given Megan low, of course, because I'm not very lustful. Um, Miley Cyrus again. I just feel she just represents the average person. I don't feel like anything like the average person, so she's a three. I do feel quite similar to Ariana, even though she's quite vain. The fact that my favorite thing or second favorite thing to do is go on Photoshop and edit pictures of me. I'm quite vain too. Um, and but yeah, Madison Beer is quite high. I feel like I'm quite similar to her. And Fergie is quite low. I wish I was more similar to her. That's a low, but there's different reasons why something can be low. You know, you can have someone low because you just don't feel similar, or you can have low because you want to be more similar and you aren't. But yeah, anyway, I'll do another one in the other video because I don't like the videos to be too long.